It seems like today, inside the new Parliament House, government tables 33% women's reservation bill. The Prime Minister says we will write history. Unlikely to be effective in 2024. Might, there's a delimitation process that's going to take place, after which you will have to decide on what seats are these reserved seats. Then there's a rotational process in play. 180 seats will have dual membership. Many people coming out and saying that, there's this OBC angle and factor that is missing in this particular case. There needs to be a quota within a quota. How welcoming is it? How inclusive is it? Because लोग कह रहे हैं पिछड़े वर्ग की मुसलमान महिलाएं और औरतें, पिछड़े वर्ग की ईसाई महिलाएं, उनके लिए किस तरीके का बेनिफिट होगा इस रिजर्वेशन से. That is what people are now coming out and questioning. And the Congress party, on the other hand, Nancy, they have said that well, this is something that we wanted to bring about 27 years back. Even Sonia Gandhi yesterday said, हाँ तो अपना ही है, it's ours. But now they're also saying that जब आपने 2026 से पहले से लागू करना ही नहीं है, तो why do you want to take credit for this?
I mean, definitely, I knew that, the game for who is actually responsible for the women's bill, for the historic women's bill, is going to come up. And the way, Mr. Modi in his speech said that I am the chosen one, God chose me so that I could, come and pass this bill. But Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, on the other hand, in his speech, he said that, this came, Rajiv Gandhi was the one who bought this bill. He was working for it. Congress has been working for this for the past, I don't know how many years now, and you cannot just come in and take credit for it. But Modi said that, aside from all the credit hogging politics, I urge everybody, let's give this bill 100% consensus. But in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha also, when the bill was about to pass in the past as well, the only question Samajwadi Party at that time also, they came out and they strongly opposed the bill. They said that there is no reservation for the OBC women in this.
I'm just saying it's interesting to see that Prahlad Patel had to take back the tweet whilst he was congratulating the Prime Minister. Tejasvi Surya, I was taking a look at a couple of reports yesterday. Tejasvi Surya had back in the day, tweeted against the women's reservation bill. And it seems like the test has finally come. He's now going to be rummaging through his social media feed and trying to delete that post where he said that if this happens, it is going to be a big step in the wrong direction.
In the wrong direction, because,
there are some key provisions in the legislation. Even before we talk about bhai politics kya ho rahi hai iske aaspaas, the OBC angle, the quota within a quota angle, when will this begin happening? Is it mere lip service or is it actually going to benefit women? These are some questions that are now coming out. But before that, let us take you through what are the key legislations, key provisions in this legislation, beg your pardon. 33% quota for women in Lok Sabha assemblies, the Delhi Assembly, where direct elections happen, by the way. There is going to be no reservation in the Rajya Sabha and state legislative councils. This is where indirect elections take place. Now, 1/3 Lok Sabha seats within the 33% quota to be reserved for SC, ST women. So there is a reservation within a reservation. You're reserving, beg your pardon, 33% of the Lok Sabha seats. Within those 33% of Lok Sabha seats, 1/3 of that, 33% of that 33% is actually reserved for the ST, SC seats. No quota for OBC women. And this is going to become a big question mark, Nancy. Reserved seats to rotate after each delimitation. Many people are also saying that there's a high possibility something like this might not get implemented before 2029 as well.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a far-fetched idea because,
Is it really a far-fetched idea? I mean, you know what, first and foremost, let's put you on the stand here. You're a woman yourself. What came to your mind, the first thought that came to your mind when you heard about what all the headlines are reading? And I'll just take a look at some other headlines from across various newspapers. This one here says, women's quota bill tabled in LS, Modi says will ensure passage. It says here, inside new parliament, government tables 33% women's reservation bill. Let me take a look at what the Hindustan Times says. The Hindustan Times here says, women's reservation bill tabled in Lok Sabha. Historic legislation marks shift to the new parliament building. The Indian Express says women's bill is in. House proceedings begin from new parliament. Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, first bill in new building. Prime Minister says old parliament can be named Samvidhan Sadan, but the essential big bold headline it says women's bill is in. Government brings bill with 33% quota for women in SC ST seats too. So I mean, when you're looking at all of this, Nancy, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
You know, when I heard that, you know, they are going to finally pass the bill, I was kind of, you know, delighted to see that finally we are, you know, we have, in the past we have said that, you know, we need to encourage women participation in development process, in science space, but we never talked about politics like that. But now that we are talking about it, finally that, you know, the bill got passed, and I was very happy ki, you know, now we have the bill. But when you actually read the bill, and when you actually, you know, read about
Understand,
the legislation,
yeah, try
when
and
you
understand
iron out the details,
delimitations and the details.
When you
the
iron
devil
out
is in the details, yeah.
Yeah, when you iron out the details, you get to know that, okay, there is a lot of things which are still left to be figured out, and you know, it's going to take a lot of time for the government right now to implement the bill, because you know, there is a whole delimitation process. We are proposing an amendment in the constitution, which is the longest process. So and then you have this on rotational basis, so this is not going to be a permanent seat for anybody as well. So you know, when you delve into the details, it's a little bit, you know, it's little bit weird to see that, okay, we have a bill that which was stuck for like past 27 years, but now that finally when the bill is out, there are a lot of things that still needs to be figured out, and you know, there is a possibility that this bill, and you know, we invited a lot of women who you know, in the parliament yesterday to come, and because this is a historic, and you know, when Arjun Ram Meghwal was proposing the bill, the center made sure strategically that, you know, all the women were sitting next to him. So you know,
That's
Smriti
actually
Irani
a
was
very decent point that you're making over there, Nancy, because a lot of people are also saying that in the photo ops that happened in front of the central hall, you know, right behind the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, the Vice President, and you know, Om Birla, who's the Speaker of the lower house, all women were standing right behind the Prime Minister. You know what? What would have been even better if the Prime Minister walked to the new Parliament with women.
Yeah.
If he would have held hands with women, that would have sent a larger and you know, a far-reaching message.
Yeah, definitely.
You wouldn't even have to maybe you know, present the bill in the Lok Sabha to put that point across.
I mean, you know, Modi ji is known for making an event out of everything. So, you know, women reservation bill, whether it's shifting from old parliament building to the new parliament building and walking with all the MPs behind him, you know, it's always a huge festive event, you know, every small thing. But, you know, they were very clever, and, you know, in his speech also he pointed out that, you know, God has chosen me, my government was the only government who had the courage to pass this bill. But, you know, they didn't make any change. In 2010 also, the bill was there with the same problem that there is no reservation for the OBC women. And right now we are fighting over the, you know, reservation of whether it's going to include OBC women or not. But here I was reading that there is a possibility that by 2029 also, there is no chance that this bill will get implemented before 2029. And I was reading about it that the reservation for women, however, will kick in only after the completion of the delimitation exercise based on the first census conducted after the passage of bill. So, before 2029, first you have to wait for the consensus
to happen.
Yeah. Then the delimitation process will take place, and then only this bill can get implemented. So, by 2029.
Wait a minute. For all those who are watching this stream right now, ladies and gentlemen, do get down in the comment sections. What is your understanding of the women's reservation bill? Is it mere lip service, or is it actually going to benefit the women? And if this benefit is going to come so late in time, I mean, this is what the opposition is also saying, that you know, the ruling dispensation is trying to get credit for something that is going to happen in 2029. Maybe not, maybe later than 2029. That's also an if situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, great optics, wonderful stuff. You know, the name of the bill itself, Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, right? Bringing Nari Shakti to the forefront, women empowerment. You know, G20 under Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the Prime Minister has made sure that it's not just women, empowerment. It's women-led empowerment as well. So, you know, great steps in that particular direction. But if something like this is not even going to happen till 2029, I mean, we must question it a little bit. So get down in the comment sections, help us out with what's your understanding of it. Again, coming back to the consensus, because a lot of people have noted that in amongst the G20 nations that came here, Nancy, India was the only nation that hadn't conducted its most recent consensus.
Yeah, and when we are talking about, in Saudi Arabia, I guess.
Bihar mein people are demanding a caste census.
Yeah.
Other places also people are demanding, various other kinds of censuses.
Because
we need a national census. I mean, we're still working on a 2011 census.
2011 census. And we are not conducting the census, and that is why all the, procedures, they get stuck. And, I have always said this, that India has always been developed. We sometimes, because in other countries as well, there need to be a law that, women should also vote. But in India, there was never something like this. It was a given fact that women are supposed to vote because they are also citizen of the country. So there was nothing special, order passed or bill passed that, let's give women the right to vote as well. This was already there, given, it was a given factor. But now we are talking about this whole bill, there is a lot of things that the center needs to figure out. There is a lot of politics that needs to figure out. And, if we are talking about, the process, but now the Congress was first, the Congress was like, we are going to welcome the bill. We don't care. We don't care about the credit. But after they heard the bill and after they got to know that there is no quota for OBC, they changed their stand and they're like, no, this is not something that is acceptable. We are going to oppose it.
So many women, and I don't know if we have those visuals. If you don't, I'm going to request the control room to rummage through the files. Yesterday, a lot of women made their way towards the national capital.
Yeah.
A lot of women make their way to the national capital. Many people were saying these women don't even know that something like this is not going to get implemented.
I mean,
तो एक तरीके से बड़ा सवाल ये है, और वो सवाल पूछने की हिम्मत जरूर करनी चाहिए कि क्या आप बुद्धू बना रहे हैं? Are you making a fool out of the people? Is the bigger question.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, you know what? Let's lay bare the semantics first, Nancy. Sonia Gandhi might speak today. Smriti Irani, Nirmala Sitharaman, being women ministers themselves, they might get a chance to speak. Congress, SP and the RJD have demanded the OBC quota in this particular, reservation. Disappointing that there is no OBC quota is coming across from Uma Bharti. Now, quota is going to come after census, and delimitation, 2026, 2029. What is that year going to be? Big questions on this particular bill. Meanwhile, we're going to take you through the rolling coverage of this reservation bill that is going to come up in the parliament today, the new parliament, mind you, the new Lok Sabha, the peacock themed Lok Sabha, visuals of which you can see on your screens. Meanwhile, Uma Bharti, Anurag Thakur, some political reactions on this particular story. Listen in and make your own understanding. But meanwhile, do get down in the comment sections. Tell us, what do you make of this women's reservation bill?
नारी शक्ति नमो नमः, नारी तू ही नारायणी। अगर कुल मिलाकर देखें, मोदी जी ने 9 वर्षों में बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ से शुरुआत करके सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप को 9 करोड़ बहनों को लखपति बनाने की और ले जाने के अभियान की शुरुआत करके दुनिया की सबसे ज्यादा महिला पायलट्स भारत में, कोई ऐसा क्षेत्र नहीं जहां पर नारी का योगदान ना हो, महिलाओं का योगदान ना हो।
मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि महिला आरक्षण विधेयक आया, लेकिन मुझे कसक है कि इसमें पिछड़ी जाति, एसटी, एससी और पिछड़ी जाति के बारे में कोई क्लियरिटी नहीं है, मतलब उनको नहीं होगा। और अगर उनको नहीं होगा तो मुझे भय है कि 33% आरक्षण पूरी तरह से एक ऐसे वर्ग को चला जाएगा जो एक प्रकार से नॉमिनेटेड से होंगे, और इसलिए इस भय से मैं बहुत चिंतित हूं। और मैंने प्रधानमंत्री जी को तुरंत चिट्ठी लिखी, और ये आज की बात नहीं है, जब देवगौड़ा जी इसको लाए थे तब भी मैंने खड़े होकर रोक दिया था उनको कि आप इसमें प्रोविजन करिए एसटी, एससी और ओबीसी का, और उसके बाद करिए। अभी भी मैं कहूंगी कि अगर आप 33 को 100 मान लें तो उसमें से 50% आरक्षण एसटी, एससी और ओबीसी का उनके हिसाब से उसका वर्गीकरण करके उनको दीजिए, तब इस प्रस्ताव को सदन में पारित होना चाहिए।
Well, all right then. 7 hours that have been given, allocated to discuss the women's reservation bill in the parliament, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring you all the details, a rolling coverage from the parliament. Big questions, like I said. The OBC, no quota for OBC women, a quota within a quota, delimitation, a new census. That is something that is being awaited. When will it finally happen? And the bigger question, is it mere lip service or is it actually going to benefit women? That is something that we have to keep our focus on. Meanwhile, a welcome step, of course, because we don't need women empowerment, we need women-led empowerment, and that is something that India is laying a right kind of focus and attention on as well.